We are back on the air. This is Small Business Mornings. I am Pat Miller, the Idea Coach, and yes, I need some more coffee. This is a daily show for small business founders, and we are just getting together to talk with one another for a couple of different reasons. We got to know what's going on in the small business lifestyle, and it's part procrastination, part support system, and it's always live. My job is to call balls and strikes for small business founders, so I'm glad you're joining us this morning. Here's what we have on today's show. Did you see that no one won the Powerball last night? That means we've got $1 billion up for grabs on Wednesday's drawing. And I've got an idea on how I can use that money for good, not evil, to change the small business landscape. So we'll talk about that. Shrinkflation is a thing. Have you heard of shrinkflation before? There's a way that we can use shrinkflation in our small business so we can use it for good, not evil. We'll talk about that. And our question of the day: what is the number one thing your family does not understand when it comes to running a small business? Because there is so much that people don't get about what it takes to be a small business owner. We will talk about that in today's show. But I'm telling you, good morning, hi, you say hi back. If you're watching the show, drop it into the chat. Tell me you say good morning, and we will get this morning's show underway. As always, your questions, comments, and sarcastic remarks are encouraged. So if you want to do some brainstorming, or if there's something on your mind that you want to share, we would love to have you on the show as well. So let's start with topic number one. The Powerball last night was, I don't know, was it $850, $900 million? Life-changing amounts of money was up for grabs last night, and nobody won. And seeing how you didn't win, you now have a chance to win on Wednesday. So $1 billion is going to be drawn on Wednesday. You know, the natural conversation is, what would you do if you had $1 billion? Because that's life-changing money, right? But I would like to change the small business ecosystem with $1 billion. Because, yeah, I would go buy new golf clubs and travel all around the world and whatever. But what would you really do if you had $1 billion? I would change the way that small businesses operate. Yeah, and want to know how I would do it? Well, first of all, I'm curious how you would spend $1 billion. Drop into the chat what you would do with your $1 billion, like the wildest idea of what you would use $1 billion for. It would have to be something just totally extravagant and completely irresponsible. Because $1 billion, when you think about it, you could put $1 billion in the bank and live off 5% interest, which would be $1 million a week. That's how much $1 billion is. You could never touch the principal and have $1 billion in the bank. And one of our Facebook users, Hookers and Blow. Just kidding. No, you're not Susie Moon. I know that's Susie Moon on the Facebook platform just by seeing that comment. So no, Susie, no, you would not want to do that. And by the way, if you're watching the show and you want your name to show up in the Facebook comments, you got to click that little QR code. It's a permissions thing. Okay, so you could spend $1 million a week just by living off the interest. That's how much it is. So here's what I would do. I would work to change the small business game. Do you know how I would do that? I would start my own payment processing site. Because tell me that you don't know this pain. Hey, I made a sale. Wow, they paid the invoice. Oh, QuickBooks took 3%. Ugh. Like, does that get anyone else angry? It just makes me see colors. It gets me so mad. If I won $1 billion, I would start like patpayments.com. And every time a small business owner could swipe a credit card, no fees. No fees. A nonprofit payment processor exclusively for small business owners, because we're losing 3% on every single dollar we make, and it sucks. That's what I would do to change it. So Roland's weighing in about what he would do with his $1 billion. I think about this a lot. I expect to be worth $1 billion in 2020 years. We'll get there, Roland. We'll get there. But I'm curious if you won, what you would spend the money on. But wouldn't that be great if we had that kind of like nonprofit payment processor? Isn't that just like a big brain idea? Because think how much money you're losing. I mean, if you do $500,000 a year, it's what, $15,000 that you're just giving away because you just give it away? Man, that makes me just crazy. So I would start a nonprofit payment processor, which is really hard to say. It sounds like an alliteration kind of warm-up thing. But you know, the other thing I would do is I would live at Caesar's Palace. You know, I'm a complex man. I would do good. I would change the small business landscape. And I would also live at the top of Caesar's Palace and live off of room service and play craps every single day, because I could lose $1 million a week and still not hurt the principal. So you would find me at Caesar's Palace with $1 billion in hand. All right, look at this. See, Roland, you're a good dude. I would invest in small business. I think small business is the future for all of us. You're damn right. Roland, you are winning today. That is exactly true. I would invest in small business. Good thinking, brother. Appreciate it. Okay, so if you've got other ways that you would spend your $1 billion if you won it, put it into the comments. We would love to have you. And by the way, we are going to do your questions, comments, and sarcastic remarks. So if there's something going on in the business that you'd like to talk about, good, bad, or indifferent, we'd love to have you come on the show. All you need to do to come on the show, it's really easy, is you got to click the QR code and you can pop in. We'll bring you on the air to hear what's on your mind. Maybe it's a news story that you saw. Maybe it's some brainstorming or am I crazy-ing that you'd like to do with everyone that's watching. The floor will be yours here in just a little bit. So let's change topics up a little bit. Shrinkflation is a thing. Do you know what shrinkflation is? Shrinkflation is where you get less for your money. Traditionally, it's this cup of coffee used to be $2, now it's $3. That's inflation. Shrinkflation is this cup of coffee is still $2, but you get less coffee for that $2. That the amount of coffee for the same amount of money goes away. So the product is reduced. The easiest way to think about that is a bottle of Gatorade. Used to be 32 ounces for $1.50. Now it's 28 ounces for $1.50. That's shrinkflation. And I was triggered by this yesterday because we were barbecuing. And I thought, you know what? I haven't had Cheez-Its in a while. Damn, I love some Cheez-Its. Thought, you know what? I'm going to go get some Cheez-Its. So I go to the aisle, get some Cheez-Its. Wow, Cheez-Its are on sale. Hot damn. Get my box of Cheez-Its. And there's like 3 Cheez-Its in the whole box. It used to be Cheez-Its. Now it's like Cheez-Its. But it's the same price. Shrinkflation. Very frustrating. So I come home and I ate my Cheez-Its because, man, they were delicious. But shrinkflation is a thing. So how can we use shrinkflation for good, not evil? And I thought maybe there's a way that we could use this as small business owners. Because I started to think about it. What's going on with shrinkflation? What that means is I'm still getting the product that I want. I'm just getting less of it. And the question is, does anyone know or care? And that's what got me thinking. So what part of the service that you provide is provided because you think your client cares, but maybe they don't? And if you didn't offer it, would they even care or would they even notice? And I have some examples to get your brain thinking about this. But can the inspiration or the effect of shrinkflation inspire you to change up what you're doing to increase your profit or your ability to perform what you do? So here's some examples just to get your brain thinking about this. So early on, when I was doing what I'm doing, I would offer all of my clients an hour of time for office hours. They could call in. We could talk about whatever they want. We could do some brainstorming. We can just reflect on their business, yada, yada, yada. No one ever took me up on it. No one ever took me up on it. And if they did, they would just send me an email saying, hey, you got a second? but I was withholding an hour a week for office hours where I couldn't schedule anything else. And I thought, oh, that could be a shrinkflation opportunity. Maybe I don't have to offer those office hours because no one ever took me up on it. Here's another example of where I found some inefficiencies in the business and I reduced my services and no one knew or cared. I offer a mastermind group. And inside my mastermind group, every week I would record it, I would transcribe it, I would post it, and I would share it. Hey, everyone, if you want to go back and listen to or watch or read the notes, you can now go and do that. No one ever went and did that. No one ever looked at it. I thought it was a service that was helpful. Turns out it was just a big waste of time. So if you're just joining us, we're talking about shrinkflation, basically giving your customers less for the same amount of money. And I'm kind of thinking about where are you over delivering, and you really don't need to be over delivering at that level because your customers might not notice and they might not care. Another thing is we would record, catalog, and post all of our videos. No one really cared. And if you could get clear on what you're providing and what are the things that your customers really want, you could then dial back the extra fluff and use that time to double down on the stuff that drives the business, right? So you could offer an extra mastermind group with the time that you freed up where you were over delivering for the one that you already do. So think through the product that you offer. Do they really value that you drive and drop off the product? Do they really value the t-shirt that you send in the mail? Does that drive the business or does that just make you feel better? If it went away, would they notice or would they even care? Because when you think about shrinkflation and you think about inflation, it's supposed to, oh, this is always bad, right? And John Cornell's got a great idea here. He's thinking about it exactly the right way. It's perspective. Deliver what they want, not what you think they want. It's exactly right. So this idea of shrinkflation might be a fresh way to think about your products and how you're delivering them. And John is exactly right. John, handsome man, terrific barbecuer, and genius, a scholar among men. Thank you for tuning in today. I appreciate it. So use that thought exercise sometime today, and we can blame it on shrinkflation. Okay, let's do our question of the day, because our question of the day, I think, is really going to spark some conversation. So this is where we are hoping that you're going to drop into the chat and tell us what's on your mind with our question of the day. Because our question of the day is something that I think all small business founders can really get their arms around. What's the number one thing that you wished your loved ones understood about running a small business? Think about that. Because when you think about running a small business, you've heard me say a million times, it's lonely and hard and don't grow it alone. Why is it so lonely and hard for small business owners? It's because no one understands what we're doing. No one understands what we're doing, and no one else is compensated and incentivized the way that we are to build what we're doing. So this is where we would love to have you come on the show if you've got something to say. What's the number one thing that you wished your family and loved ones understood about running your small business? Because there's so many things that they don't get at all. Let's start making the list, shall we? Because the majority of the folks in your life, the vast majority of the folks in your life get a paycheck, they can't understand what the idea of we eat what we kill. If you don't make the sale, then you don't have the ability to pay off the credit card that month, or that you are going to be able to take a vacation or go out to dinner that weekend. You eat what you kill, because if you get a salary, good times or bad, as long as you have a job, you're going to get paid. So the way that small business works, that is definitely something I wish they all understood. We've got one of our Facebook viewers here that says that I actually work 8 to 10 hours a day, that I'm not just sitting around all day. Oh my gosh, isn't that the truth? How many times have you had that happen? Like maybe your aunt or your mom calls you in the middle of the day. It's like, hey, can you do the thing? Because I know you're just at home. I'm not just at home. What are you talking about? I'm not just at home. No, I can't go pick up your dog from the groomer. I'm doing something really important, like a show, right? Or whatever it is that I'm doing all day, just sitting at home. But yes, that's an excellent one, that we're not just sitting around. We're actually doing work 8 to 10 hours each day. So if you're just joining us, we're talking about our question of the day, which is, what's the number one thing that you wish people understood about running a small business? Here's another one. We talked about the hours that we work. Another one is, I would love it if they understood that we're not rich, right? And that when we talk about money, it's revenue. It's not profit. Just because I make a $5,000 sale doesn't mean I get $5,000 in my bank account. Isn't that the truth? Here's a good one. Oh, Marie, I love you. The time it takes to wear so many hats, unlike a large corporation that has people for accounting, marketing, sales, and more. Preach. Preach. All right. So sorry about it. Roland, you were winning the chat today. Marie is winning the chat today because we have to wear so many freaking hats. Because at a corporation, everybody, like every position is manned by a person, woman or man. Woman, it's led by a person. There's always someone for it. Here's another comment. Get it in here. Lynn, we don't do a job. We have to do all the jobs in the business. Preach. Right there after Marie. Marie and Lynn are killing it. Oh my gosh. Yes. John Cornell weighing in. There is no time off when we wear all the hats. Absolutely right. These are great. Where. Yes, John, I corrected it for you. It's all good, bud. Yes, so these are all things that we wish that people understood. We're not loaded. We're working all the time. And that disconnect is like pretty harmful too, because, why are you working on a Saturday? What do you mean you're working on Sunday morning? You work too much. No, I'm trying not to lose my house. Thank you very much. Yeah, I got stuff to do. And we've got a hello from Georgia. Well, hello from Georgia. If you're watching us on Facebook, they make us do this weird authentication thing where you got to click the little QR code, and that way we can see who you are saying hello from Georgia. But if I had to guess, it's our friend Talmar. So Talmar, thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it. So if you're just joining us, this is the Pat Miller Show. It's our daily small business meeting. Like, I believe that there should be a daily show for small business owners because stuff happens. Like the Powerball gets to $1 billion and shrinkflation pisses me off, and I want to spend some time thinking about how we can use it for good and not evil. And there are conversations that need to happen, like how come our family and friends don't understand what it takes to lead the small business lifestyle. If you're enjoying the show, let us know that you are by commenting and subscribing, liking the program. That way we know we're building some momentum, because I'm kind of playing with the idea of doing this show every single day, which would change the relationship, I think, a little bit. When I think about why a small business daily show needs to happen, it's not because you need to listen every day. It's not that. It's not that you need to participate or comment every day. It's that we're here every day. Because John Cornell's out there killing it, right? Talmar, who's down in Georgia, she's killing it. You don't have every day to join us, but if you knew we were here when you did need us, you could come on the show and you could chat with us. Or you could know that you're going to get in touch with what's happening in the small business lifestyle just by tuning in. Or you would know, yeah, I'm taking a walk at 1:00 this afternoon. Oh, let me go back and catch the replay. The fact that we're here is part of it. It's not, did you hear my show this morning? No, it's the fact that we got together. It's the exercise of doing it. That's the working theory. So if you're checking out the show, let me know, because I would really like to know if this is something that you would value, because I think it would be something that would be great. Would love being able to jump in. Well, you can jump in right now. As a matter of fact, you can join the show. And here's how it works. When you click that link, which I think creates a link inside the chat on some of the platforms, when you click that link, Then all you need to do is you'll be ported right into the Zoom screen and I'll bring you on. Like it's the way that you call in to the show is by clicking that link and we would bring you on. So this is one of those things that has to happen over time, but this is the thing that will eventually turn out to taking calls and getting in touch with what's happening on the day-to-day program. Roland's back with more brilliance. I've been at a family reunion all weekend. I paid for a good portion of it. I'm treated like royalty and expected to do more. No one can understand how I started with $288 and built it to 30 million. No one understands the value of a dollar. Yeah, they don't. And they don't understand the sweat equity and the genius that it took to get from $288 to $30 million. And you know the other thing they don't understand? And Roland, I would be curious if you felt this way too, seeing how you built a multi-million-dollar company. Just this morning, right here. So you can't see my office, and I'm going to bring in a second camera and a third camera and all that kind of stuff. But right over here, there's a little love seat. And every morning, my wife and I, who's also a small business owner, we sit here and we have coffee with one another every single day. And we talk about how we're feeling. And most mornings, one of us is not doing that great. Like we're sitting here thinking, oh my gosh, where are the customers? How come it's not working? What about the thing? The doubt and the imposter syndrome that just doesn't go away. It's another reason why I think this daily show needs to exist. Because right now, someone that's watching this right now is sitting there saying, how come this isn't working and do I have to go back to corporate? Right now, someone is saying that. And if that's you, I'm going to be your little friend inside your little Zoom screen saying, stop it. I'm not going to squirt you with the water bottle like you're a cat. Psh, psh, psh. No, stop it. You don't need to go back to corporate. You need to understand that imposter syndrome has got you. And you need to understand that you're probably on the right track. You just need to double down. You just need to keep going and realize that it's working. But that feeling, Roland, I'm sure that happened to you throughout your building. At some point, you thought, all of this is wrong. I'm not on the right track. I need to do something differently. That's the importance of a small business community. That's the importance of a conversation like this. And that's pretty much why I'm here, is to make sure that we can all stay true to our vision and make it come true. All right, one other thing I want to hit before we get out of here today is I want to remind you of the announcement that we made yesterday. We announced yesterday, let's see, there it is. We announced yesterday our incredible charity fundraiser with the ultimate awesome Savannah Bananas that are coming to Milwaukee. So the Savannah Bananas are the biggest thing in sports. And we are partnering with our friends at Bank 59 because they're incredible to raise money for the Islands of Brilliance charity, which is a charity that helps neurodivergent and autistic kids find confidence through artwork. They build life skills. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous event, or charity rather, that was built by a family that's now growing to serve so many kids. It's truly a great organization. So the Savannah Bananas are coming to Milwaukee. We've scored a big pile of tickets. We're going to Whirly Ball on September 7th and then going to see the Bananas game on the 9th. All of these tickets are going on sale for Idea Collective members on Monday and then to the general public on the 31st, should there be some left over. But we're going to actually party with the team at Whirly Ball. It's going to be incredible. So stay tuned for more on that, and we will get you the opportunity to buy those tickets coming up on the 31st. All right, with that, let's get one more chance for questions, comments, and sarcastic remarks before we sign off for today. Hearing none, this is Small Business Mornings. I'm Pat Miller, the Idea Coach. If you even dug this show that much, let me know by giving it a like, subscribing to the show, or clicking the QR code in the top of the window here, because the Pat Miller Show is a weekly small business show that we interview people. We talk about the issues that are facing small business owners. On the recent episode, I went through how to sell to small business owners. So if you're someone that's trying to sell into the small business market, I give you the tips of what do we want to hear before we buy. Click that QR code in the top corner of the window, and you will be able to find the feed of the Pat Miller Show, which is syndicated nationwide. I'm Pat Miller, the Idea Coach. Thanks a lot for tuning in today. I really appreciate it. And Roland and John and Talmar and Marie and Lynn and everybody else that popped in to say hello, I appreciate you, because together we are going to make this happen. A daily show demonstrating the small business lifestyle so we can get through it together. Thanks for tuning in.